is your love and relationship reading for June 28th. Give me just a few more seconds and I'll cut the cards. The first card is a Queen of Pentacles. I have a Queen of Cups reversed and a King of Swords. So kings and queens here with past influences. I have Four of Pentacles, a Knight of Pentacles, which will be right here in the center at the root of the reading, and then a Ten of Cups. Last three cards, Eight of Swords, the Hermit, and Ace of Wands. Very interesting. I see a lot of ups and downs here. A little bit of confusion, stops and starts. You have this little block of pentacles here. The Queen, Four of Pentacles, and the Knight. Now the Queen has an important role, especially seeing that you have this Queen of Cups with the Knight of the King of Swords here. And whenever I'm noticing that you do have a lot of these face cards here with the Knights and the Queens and the Kings. And whenever I see that, it's not that I'm seeing actual people, but I just get this feeling that there are definite shifts going on. For instance, the Queens are supportive. They're not in the foreground like the King. The King traditionally, and I'm not trying to be sexist here, but the King traditionally is the one who makes the decisions, and the King rules. And whenever the King decides, the Queen supports the King, and the Knights take action. So when I say shifts, I'm talking about the actual progression of the relationship in this issue. And you only have one major arcana card, which is the Hermit, and that can be about being alone, contemplating things, and so I see a little bit of back and forth, a lot of indecision here, but I do feel this slow progression towards action about a relationship. And for some of you Libras, I think that it could be about waiting to make the right move. Now, this Four of Pentacles, which is sort of at the cornerstone of the Queen and the Knight, this Four of Pentacles can mean being stuck, holding on to something. Sometimes I feel, especially in relationships, it can be about someone who's afraid to make a move. You know, they're very comfortable just being in this limbo and not having to take a risk. And I think that would definitely apply to you, Libra, especially if you're an air sign. You can overthink a few things, and you can overthink to the point to where you end up not taking action. And I kind of feel for some of you, you might be in relationships where the relationship is stuck, and you have discussions, and that could definitely apply with the King of Swords, but nothing really changes or moves on. Another thing with the cups, you have a Queen of Cups reversed, and the Queen of Cups, whenever our emotions are reversed. Cups represent love, emotion. So yeah, a setback with feelings, a setback with commitment. And it's next to this Queen of Pentacles. Now the Queen of Pentacles, yes, it is about security. Not just, and usually and traditionally in tarot, pentacles are also called coins. They're about money. But I feel that in this instance, when I have a Queen of Pentacles who sort of overpowers the Queen of Cups, I'm looking at not really committing emotionally to anything right now, not committing to a relationship, either you or the other person. And you're just sticking to the physical, or the sexual. There's not a lot of emotional connection going on. You're not in love yet. You don't know. Okay? So I'm looking at this mixture, this interaction between the pentacles and the cups, the earth and water. And then you have that King of Swords. And the King of Swords is usually associated more along the lines of Aquarius, but it's still air. And you also have that Eight of Swords, where once again this is about being stuck and not moving, and you have to take the blindfold off and realize that you do have options. Things don't have to be the way that they are. So I'm kind of glad to see the Hermit. I'm kind of happy to see the blindfold off with the Hermit, and there's a search for truth. That's why he's holding up the lantern. So yeah, very interesting with these first three cards. The Battle of the Queens, the physical and material or the sexual seems to be overriding the emotional, and maybe some of you are dealing with someone who has a lack of emotional commitment. But this Knight of Pentacles here in the middle, it's about taking responsibility. Okay? And maybe this is an issue of feeling stable and secure first before you move on and take a risk in love. And that's perfectly reasonable for air signs, especially Libra. And Libras are famous, I'm a Libra, Libras are famous for keeping their thoughts under wraps until they know that this is what they want in a relationship and they can move forward. So this King of Swords is very important here. It's about making a decision, coming to a path and making a judgment here, and getting past this emotional roadblock. So as we progress through these pentacles, then cups show up again with the Ten of Cups, which is somewhat the happily ever after card, but it can be toned down a little bit when you have all of this earth energy with the water, and earth and water do nurture each other. This Ten of Pentacles doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that someone's going to necessarily get married or you find the love of your life. It means that you and the other person might be coming out of this emotional wilderness, that you'll find your sweet spot, that you'll finally start to feel there are possibilities in love. But then when we get here to the future, as usual, those swords pop up and that overthinking occurs, and I feel like some of you Libras are like, I'm going to sort of let go of feeling stuck. I'm just going to try to understand with the Hermit of what's right for me. There's a difference between overthinking and then really seeking enlightenment and truth. And so after the Eight of Swords and the Hermit, and you get yourself mentally unstuck, Libra, then this Ace of Wands comes with a new beginning. It comes with new opportunities. And you see the dawn. It's like early morning here. You finally find that sweet spot. And it's sometimes interpreted in non-romantic readings as that fire and creativity. And it's about turning your ideas into reality. So in a romantic reading, especially since this Ace of Wands is right underneath the Ten of Cups together, those two cards are about realizing the potential for love in your soulmate. And it doesn't mean that it's all going to be perfect, but you're definitely going to find your way back as far as relationships with the other person, or whether you're starting to date. So let me shuffle for that outcome card. Okay, so the outcome card I have is a Five of Swords. And this is about conflict. It can be about ego. Sometimes it does mean losing a battle. I don't think you should be discouraged by that, because sometimes the Five of Swords can just mean a minor setback. In more harsh terms, the Five of Swords can mean destruction. But in a way, it's also about taking the loss. You can't win at everything. And sometimes it's very difficult, especially for air signs, to take a risk. And, you might have your pride hurt. You're like, oh, I thought this was going to be perfect and this would be a great opportunity. And then you kind of get knocked back down. But once again, I don't think that you should hold on to feelings of feeling humiliated. I don't think you should look back at your defeats and who rejected you. I think you need to get past it and just keep moving forward. That's really what the interpretation of this particular card is. It's about taking the loss and not taking it personally, not letting it hold you back. So yes, there's this promise of Ace of Wands that for some of you Libras, it's like, yes, things are going to be different this time, and then someone might let you down. And that's basically the strongest impression I'm getting from this Five of Swords here. But you got to move on and shake it off. But you're going to be okay. I feel like this Ace of Wands is saying that now that you're getting out of your limbo and you're starting to realize what you want, there's still those possibilities of finding your soulmate or working things out with your partner. But you have to be willing to take rejection. You also have to be willing to accept where the other person is. And air signs, especially Libras, as always are famous for having bruised egos and then pulling back out and retreating to the hermit. Don't do that. Okay? Don't be afraid of being rejected. Don't be afraid of someone walking away. So, yes, this is still encouraging. So don't take this Five of Swords necessarily as a sign of defeat. It could be a minor argument or disagreement as well. But I think what the Oracle is saying is no fear. Okay, face up to, be willing to take a little bit of defeat to get to what you really want. And I read something interesting. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Keep that in mind. So that was your reading, Libra. Thank you to everyone who was supporting me, especially the last month. My health and my other obligations and having to cut back on my availability. Thank you for understanding. I appreciate all of you who sent me emails hoping that I was okay. You guys are wonderful. So thank you so much. I'll continue to do readings as much as I can. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon link in the description. I hope you're having a wonderful spring. We're heading towards summer. The equinox is coming soon, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. I love these shifts, and I love the rhythm of the year, especially with the sun and the start of summer. So take care. I will see you next month, and as always, I wish you love and